Welcome back to the Broker Power Up podcast, the AIME podcast for strategy, stories, and insights to help you close more loans. I'm Tommy Golightly, joined by Jonathan Haddad.
My friends, how are you, Tommy? It's a pleasure.
Good.
So this is quick tip. If you ever do a fast, this is my second day. These little Bob's pickle potion from Amazon, they absolutely help with getting over some of the hunger. So if you don't mind,
Cheers. Is that just like a bunch of electrolytes and stuff? Does it
yeah,
taste like pickles?
whew, it does taste like pickles, but it really helps quite a bit. Wow.
There we go. Well, we do have a lot going on today. We have the Broker Buzz, where we're going to dive into the top posts of the week from the Brokers Are Best Facebook group and discuss what's trending, what's working, and what you need to know. Then we're going to go into the sales pitch training, where John helps us become better salespeople. And then we will wrap things up with story time with John. So, as we start every podcast, a fortune cookie. And hopefully, every podcast, you don't have to start with a pickle.
Yeah, that
This
was
is a temporary thing, right?
it is yes, it
Okay.
is temporary. I'm doing a 3-day fast.
Okay.
Get myself lined up, but that's really it.
Very cool.
Okay.
I'll have to learn more about that.
Today's fortune.
Hmm.
Your greatness lies. Oh, this one's so good, Tommy. Your greatness lies in your consistent effort, not in fleeting moments of glory.
I relate to that heavily.
Man, I love that one so much. That is such a deep, meaningful. This is one of those I'm saving. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. Read it again one more time, just so I get the exact
You,
words.
your greatness lies in your consistent effort, not in fleeting moments of glory. When I was young, God, I'm getting old where I say now, when I was a kid, these are the moments, like you think about making the basketball team, you think about making any kind of team, basketball, hockey, I played growing up. And there's like that level of excitement, there's level of excitement and you're like, oh, okay. And then I started when I played hockey. And I was like, wow, I'm a starter. This is amazing. I'm sitting in the glory. But then someone comes along and they do things a little better and you get moved out of the unit. You get shifted out. And when that first happened to me, I was livid. Couldn't believe it. Oh my goodness. Why? I got picked first. I can't believe this person. That's because why? I'm sitting there. I'm not doing the practice. I have natural, minimal talent, whatever that was at the time. Definitely not pro talent or anything of that nature. But I was sitting there thinking, like, I've earned this. I deserve it. The reality is someone else is going to work harder than you if you don't stay on top of your A game. And so I love watching other people put in the effort. I love watching other people put in the work. It makes me inspired. It makes me motivated, not spiteful. Now, whenever that happens, my philosophy, my mindset is so much different than it was when I was younger. So that's what it means to me. That would hit me really hard. Not sure your take on it.
Yeah, absolutely. Two things. One, in work, in just the work I do, it's consistency, right? Like social media posting, videos, podcasts. We haven't missed a week. We rearrange our schedules to make sure this happens. Uh, it's the small things, but eventually it grows into a larger show, right? And then what it related to with my childhood, because you took me back with that hockey thing, is Boy Scouts. I'm an Eagle Scout, and it's not about the award ceremony that you get just before you turn 18 and you finally cross the reach the rank of Eagle, but it's about the story, right? The consistency. I was in Cub Scouts all the way from Tiger all the way to Weeblo through Cub Scouts and then Boy Scouts all the way up to Eagle. And it's all about all the small things you do, camping trips every weekend, knocking out merit badges. It's all about those little incremental things that you do along the way to get to that award ceremony. And then you get to carry on the title of an Eagle Scout for the rest of your life.
Eh, and look how like deep that runs.
Oh, yeah.
Like I just saw your face just go so back. Like, wow, what a
Second
difference.
generation. Shout out to my dad who pushed me through and is also an Eagle Scout.
That's amazing, man. And I mean, look at the value it provides. It's a big win.
Oh, I'm still talking about it today, obviously. So,
That's what I mean. Like you're taking those. Honestly, you made me think about my kids. To be honest with you, like as they start to get older, I'm like, I never did that stuff. And this hearing you talk about it, again, that inspires what? That inspires that opportunity for greatness to occur.
Oh, I support all boys getting into Cub Scouts and girls into Girl Scouts. It really does build fundamental teamwork, leadership. I a lot of the leadership skills that I've acquired over the years, I relate to Scouts because I was had the opportunity to be a Scout leader and both um, as a Scout and then as an adult, and was able to teach people what I had learned, and it's very rewarding.
Thank you, man. Thanks for sharing that. It's a hell of a story.
Of course, but let's get into the broker buzz. We have our first question of the week. Where does a mortgage brokerage report fraud if found?
So there are multiple areas. Number one, be on the lookout for it. Tommy, I'm putting it in the chat for us, and you can
Sure.
post these when we do the edit on this.
Mhm.
So there are multiple areas for you to report fraud. Number one, pay attention to it. I'm glad you are. It's actually a huge focus of the new FHFA director, Bill Pulte. Fraud is something he is going to crack down on. Don't it can hurt us, right? It can hurt the broker channel. You saw what you saw what the community, the government did to the broker channel in '09, '08. They wanted a scapegoat, and the broker community happened to be that scapegoat, and they fraud this, fraud that. Don't let one bad apple ruin this for all of us. So if you do see it, leverage all of the different opportunities for you. There's reportfraud.ftc.gov. There's also basefiling.fincen.treas.gov. And then last but not least, you can file a SAR report, suspicious activity reports, occ.treas.gov. We will have all of these links for you in the edit to click on whenever you need. It is a real thing that unfortunately happens across the board, retail, broker side, and we got to stay in front of it. And if you do see it, say something. It's really important because it can hurt all of us. So continue to be that person. Continue to make sure that you shed light on our community, and continue to make sure that we don't get additional restraints put on us because of some bad apple. But I love that question, and I am encouraging you to make sure you do the right thing constantly.
Links will be down in the description.
Mhm.
Question number 2. Does forbearance trigger an EPO?
The answer is it absolutely can. One, you need to read your broker agreements. These broker agreements are getting updated yearly, sometimes every 2 years. Double check your agreements and take a look and see if it does. Sometimes they'll say if a payment is missed within the first 6 months, sometimes if a payment's missed in the first 12 months, which by the way, y'all, like we have to sympathize a bit with our investors and I'm just going to be very blunt here with you. So an example is this, and this is going to be controversial to some people. I don't care. If you're qualifying a client, borderline FHA loan, back end debt to income ratio, 56%. So FHA loans, y'all, you can go up to almost 57% debt to income. So just to give you an idea of what that means, if you're making $10,000 a month, you have the ability with your mortgage payment, everything all in, to spend up to $5,700 a month. So 5,600, 999 basically is what it equates to. So imagine that's how you qualify the loan. It's by the skin of the teeth. The lender accepts it because it goes approved. Everything's good. But then 2 months pass and the client misses a payment. That's not good for anybody across the board. Just so you all know, those are prepaid fees, right? Those are basically now the lenders is responsible for that. The investor goes to the lender and goes, "Yo, we want our money." On government loans, FHA loans, the lender's still paying the payment, just in case you guys don't know that. That does not help us. Imagine a lender gets burned so many times. All these big lenders get burned so many times. Why would they keep offering the product? Why would they keep giving it? Why would they say, "Hey, keep working it"? So the answer is yes, it can trigger an EPO. Read your broker packets, but also have real conversations with your clients. Make sure they're in good financial spots when it comes to buying a home, and just be the educator, be the advisor. I know each and every one of you are.
Absolutely. And so is there like because that seems pretty high. Like when you said 57%, that kind of took me back in that like that's a huge mortgage payment for your income.
So there's front end ratio and
Okay.
back end ratio. So front end is just your housing expense. How much does it cost to pay for my house? So the this is all data driven. So
Sure.
I'm talking about is data. Sometimes I feel weird because some people are like, what? But this is just how it works.
Yeah.
So do you know the last that there's two things people stop paying on last. So if they're going into bankruptcy or foreclosure, there's two things that they always make sure they pay. Do you know what they are?
Mortgage and auto,
Close. Mortgage,
mortgage and insurance.
phone.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah. Yeah.
Mortgage, phone bill. Those are the top two things people try to pay if they own a primary house. So investment property, second home, this doesn't count. This is just primary residence and your phone bill. So that's not, why all the decisions are made, but front end ratio is just your mortgage payment. So for FHA, the highest the front end ratio can be is 47%. So if you make $10,000, 4,700 of that can be your mortgage payment. The other 10% can be your debt. So up to 57% on the
I
yeah. It's still more flexibility that we get with it with FHA versus conventional loans, but that's how it works.
Sure. No, that cleared things up.
Mhm.
And our final question. My client called me freaking out because they had an escrow shortage balance. What does this mean and what should they do?
Loan officers. I actually just posted about this on Facebook. It got tremendous traction. And so it depends. One, let's be clear. It depends on the state that you're in. I've lived in California, Nevada, Michigan. I own some properties in Texas. I understand this more than you could imagine. In Michigan, your taxes get reassessed after you purchase the home. It can take up to 2 years to reassess the home. Let me give you an idea of where people screw up all the time. I see realtors make this mistake. I made this mistake once in my career and I never made it again. So let's just say your client in Michigan, and many states are like this, but let's just say in Michigan, your client's buying a home and they buy a home from a seller that bought the home in 2000. Okay. So purchased the home in 2000. It's 25 years later. A lot of agents and clients look at the taxes and they go, wow, look at those taxes. Those taxes are based off of the assessment from 2000. And in Michigan, they can only go up 3% a year after they're assessed initially. So from 2000 till now, there's only minimal increases. So what happens is the home gets purchased. So let's just say you bought the home for $200,000. Now that home is worth $400,000. Now the new homeowner comes in and I'm buying the home off $400,000 and I'm like, wow, my taxes are so cheap. 2 years later, the county comes in and they say, hey, we're going to assess your property now because we see you bought this property for $400,000. Now my taxable assessed value is based off my $400,000 purchase price. And in Michigan, this is a general rule of thumb. Your tax assessment will be 50% of the purchase price. So that client that bought a home in 2000 for $200,000 is paying on assessments of $100,000. I'm now buying the home for $400,000, having to pay assessments on $200,000. It's double. So your tax rate will double. Now, here's the problem people run into. Title companies, not their fault, but they can't predict the taxes if they don't have the assessment. So on a majority of the time, they will put the current taxes on there. And so all the lender is doing, all I'm doing as a broker is filling up for what the title company says I need. This is all I need. This is what my taxes are going to be. We're good here. What happens is the clients aren't saving money on the side. They get their reassessment 2 years later. What happens is the escrow payment goes up. It's a shortage. They apply it to your mortgage payment and stretch it over like a 12-month time. So that additional $5,000 in taxes is now stretched equally over 12 months to try and catch you up. But $5,000 over a year is a little over $400 a month in your payment increase. So I always advise clients to set money aside, especially Michigan. A lot of Texas has crazy reassessments. Pennsylvania, Massachusetts, Florida. There's so many states that have this, but it's missed so often by the lender, and we don't educate the client. Now, there are some states like Nevada. I lived in Nevada. I love this about them. They only go up 3% regardless. So even if you buy a home, like I was looking at a house, somebody redid it. They bought it in like 1980. My taxes on this $500,000 home would have still been like $4,200. It was wild. That's because, again, Nevada, no state income tax. Casinos basically pay for everything. You have to know the law, know the state, but your consumers will hurt badly if you don't understand this as a loan officer. So don't push it to the side. Get in front of it and learn how to do it. And lastly, there's companies out there right now, I talked about this on Facebook, who are doing this intentionally to make their cash to close for a consumer more favorable. Because if I say, hey, yeah, we don't have to collect as much in process and after the loan close, that's going to go up. If that's you, stop it right now. Stop it. Get away from it. That's not how you sell. Educate people, be an advisor, stay in front of them. So I hope I gave the best explanation I could there in layman terms.
Yeah. So I guess one piece of advice for the client. So I'm the mortgage broker that had this question, and we're gonna tell the client. Should the client's like, okay, so it's an extra $400 I gotta pay. Do I pay it now? I have the money. Do I pay it now, or do I just, let it add to my? Is there a bad? Would it be bad to let it just add to the 12 months over the next if I have
Nope.
the money?
So you can't legally, it can't be an interest bearing account. So
Okay,
they can't collect interest on it. The lenders legally cannot do that at all. But to your point, I tell clients just to set them because I can see the future tax rate. So in Michigan, you can actually go look it up and get a decent idea of what it's going to be
gotcha.
with my rule of thumb. And I do the exact same thing for my clients. Hey, just so you know, in the next 2 years, this looks like it's going to be about $200 a month more expensive. I highly encourage you set that 200 aside like it's not there at all. I highly encourage it. It's going to happen. There's nothing I can do. There's nothing you can do. Just know it's going to happen. And I will say this: there's a lot of clients that don't believe me, and the amount of calls I get later is astronomical because it just is what it is. Know your state rules, know your regulations, learn how taxes and insurance work for the love of God. Especially right now, look what's happening to insurance. Look at this: fires left and right. Insurance premiums are skyrocketing to an all-time high, and property taxes don't go down ever. So, really important.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. If you would like your question answered on the Broker Power Up, make sure you become an AIME member if you aren't already. Go into the Brokers Are Best Facebook group and use the hashtag Broker Power Up question. We will know where to find you and we will get your question read on air. So if you are not an AIME member, you should become one and you should scan the QR code in this next ad. And we'll see you on the other side to help you become better salespeople.
Are you a wholesale mortgage professional? Well, then the very first thing you need is a community to help you and your business grow. With AIME membership, your community is right here. Joining our community means never navigating the market alone or operating without a safety net ever again. We are 16,000 members strong of united wholesale professionals. From rookies to top-ranking originators, all dedicated to supporting each other's success so we can grow together. Beyond entry to the best community in the mortgage industry, AIME membership gives you the resources, tools, guidance, discounts, services, and support that help you and your wholesale business grow, thrive, and most importantly, close more loans. AIME membership connects you with leading wholesale lenders and vendors, offering you exclusive access, services, and discounts that save you more money while helping you make more money. Never get stuck on a loan again with our lender escalation program. Grow your network and skills with the wholesale industry's best conferences and networking events. Get the strategies and skills of top originators and industry innovators with AIME's cutting-edge wholesale mortgage education, resources, and content. AIME offers all of this and more, starting at a low price of $19.99 a month. You heard it here first: couple cups of Starbucks coffee. For you to learn more and get started, all you have to do is visit aimegroup.com, AIME group.com /membership. Your community is waiting.
All right, and we're back for some sales training. John, what do we got going on?
So I'm actually gonna talk about my bartending days for a second here. I feel like service industry people can make some of the best sales professionals ever. And I'll never forget starting my journey bartending. And I started working at Buffalo Wild Wings. And when I first started working there, I was on the floor. I told everybody, I said, I'm going to be a bartender fast. Everyone laughed. They looked. Okay, all right, whatever. We all have our regulars. We all have this. The difference was I was paying attention to how everybody treated each table. It was always on my mind. And I don't know if it's on my mind because of my background. I worked in the dollar store when I was like 12 years old, and I worked behind the cash register because I spoke English, easy to translate, and I just picked up on that service aspect of things. But what I found is the same nuances and irritation was pretty much the same for everybody. Now, keep in mind, I wasn't 21 yet. But when I turned 19, I went to Canada since I live in Michigan and I'm dual citizen. And so I understood the game. But there were only a couple things that people really that bothered them. Number one, you all know this. Tommy, even if I'm busy at the bar and you walk up to the bar itself, what are you at least looking for? What makes you feel better?
Acknowledgement.
Perfect. Would you
Just
wait?
a look over, be like, I'll be right with you.
Do you wait a little bit longer with the acknowledgement?
I would I would wait 5 minutes opposed to one.
So what did that great bartender do? What do they actually do there? What did they cut in the air?
Question of whether they see that I'm there.
Bingo. They cut tension. They cut a roadblock by simply acknowledging. That's number one. Number two, how long do you wait before your water or your drink isn't refilled before you get frustrated?
I honestly, I don't think I've thought about that. But I'd probably say if I'm eating something spicy, a couple minutes.
3 minutes. So I that's another cue, right? So really small. So here was my philosophy. When I went in there, my philosophy was I had some of the people there would say, "Oh, uh, they're regulars, but they don't tip well." And I would say, "Okay, if the most this person's going to give me is a quarter, I'm going to earn my damn quarter." I that was always my they would laugh, they joke, and then it started working. I'm now making more money. I'm taking double shifts. I became a bartender, but now we have drinks, we have being acknowledged. All right. What happens, Tommy, if it takes too long to cash out? How long do you wait for that?
I don't know. I feel like I'm pretty polite in those situations and wait a while.
But
I have a
feel it.
food industry background as well. So
Internally,
I've
you
been on
feel
that
it.
side. Yeah.
Internally, you feel it. Yo, that's all sales is. That internal feeling that you're ignoring is the feeling that'll make your consumer feel that much better. And this has been on my mind really heavily. How about the appraisal that fell short? How long are you waiting to have the conversation? What about that loan that no longer qualifies, debt to income? How long are you waiting to have that conversation? What about the pre approval that your agent really wants done so badly, but you push it off to the side? How long are you waiting? You're hurting yourself by not acknowledging the situation. You're hurting yourself by being afraid to have the conversation. You're hurting yourself in sales by simply doing the one thing you're supposed to do, which is communicate. So today's sales tip, Tommy, is acknowledgement. And I know I'm taking it really drastic, but I cannot tell you the amount of times I've seen something so simple destroy massive relationships. Not saying no, not doing the denial call, not doing it, not acknowledging the situation. What about screaming at an underwriter? And then on the next file, Tommy, it's the same underwriter on the loan. And they call like nothing happened. As opposed to like, Tommy, I definitely know I was out of character last time we spoke, and I probably said things to you I shouldn't have said. I'm gonna be very upfront. And I know you're on my file now, and part of you might be thinking, John, why are you calling me now only when I'm on your file? And you are right. It did just become front of mind now, and I am calling to apologize and say sorry. And I hope I looked at this loan much better, and I'd love to get your input and insight. What do you think that does?
It does a lot of things. One, it acknowledges that you are sorry. Saying sorry does go a long way, and it does take not that's not a simple thing that I want to just graze past. Like not everyone can say sorry. Not everyone does. Some people are just tied to excuses and they need to nothing's their fault ever. And to be the better person and the better salesperson, you need to acknowledge. Um, you need to acknowledge where you've messed up because we are all human. No one's perfect. and then how you're going to correct that. And then you even ended it on wanting to lean on their expertise, which is huge because then that then relays that you now acknowledge them as a professional that they are.
And for those out there, right, John, what are the steps into this process? Stop, y'all. You know what they are. That anxiety. You know what I'm talking about, the lone anxiety right before you go to sleep and you wake up with it because you knew you should have done the thing you're supposed to do the night before, but you didn't. So don't pretend. I still write loans. I know the feeling because I still get the feeling. What I'm telling y'all is not like this isn't stuff I still run into it. I'm not perfect. I still, like, to your point, I still make these mistakes. I'm like, oh God. I actually just got a text now. I won't lie to you. I was like, uh-oh, I got to get in front of that. But the acknowledgement piece and just being aware is, I cannot tell you how much additional business you'll bring in the door just by doing that. And if you don't think so, you are so wrong. You know why I know it? Because you tell me, you ever hang up the phone with a real estate agent that's being a bit of an ass? And the first thing that you do is you do what? You look to your neighbor, if you have one, or you call your colleague and you say, wow, that guy or gal was an absolute nightmare. What do you think they're doing to you as a loan officer when you're not calling them on low appraised values or you're waiting last minute to deny a loan out? What do you think they're doing? They're looking at their realtors and they're saying the same thing. So next time you have a buyer that submits an offer to one of their houses, imagine that agent's now listing the house. What do you think is going through their mind? If it were me and I'm the agent, I'd say, hey, listen, Mr. and Mrs. Client, they do have the highest offer. I just do want to say one thing from my personal experience from this lender. There are a couple things that I am concerned with. Why would I not? That's my real example. I can show them proof of it. I'm not lying. Let's not pretend that agents are going in there. Oh yeah, everyone's great. They're not doing that. You guys all know that. So think about that for a second. Think about how deep that goes. This is a career, not a job.
It's a career. Yeah. Yeah. And it goes with the consistency thing, right? Consistency is what makes you great, not the one event. And
yes.
being able, yeah, exactly. Ties back to the fortune cookie. The fortune cookie knew.
God, it did know.
But I think it all comes down to the acknowledgement and acknowledging when you messed up, apologizing and what you can do better next time, and acknowledging when people are waiting for information, get them the information as soon as possible. Don't wait, even if it's bad news. Like, I know if I like working with you, if I have bad news and I need to bring it to you, would you be mad? Would you prefer me to bring it up as soon as I found out and it's going to be an issue, or that it's going to be an issue for next week? Or do you want me to next week be like, hey, tomorrow, this thing?
Hey, I heard this one time, and bad news and good news needs to travel at the same speed.
Mm-hmm. I like that a lot.
I loved it. It's kind of sat in my head for so long. And I'm not perfect, still working on it, but that's something I absolutely loved.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Cool. Well, I feel like a better salesperson for sure. So if you want to become a better salesperson and want to learn in person, you can come to Fuse in Nashville and learn from the greatest in the industry. And we're going to have a ton of amazing main stage keynotes and breakout sessions and a ton of things to get you in the place you need to be a better salesperson. So scan the QR code. If you are an AIME annual member, you can now claim your tickets. If you are not an AIME member, you will be able to purchase your tickets later this month. We will let you know when that is out. And we'll see you on the other side for some story time.
Fuse is just around the corner, believe it or not, another year down. And we are excited for the largest event of the entire wholesale mortgage industry. Fuse National Conference 2025 is taking its show on the road. Now emanating from Nashville, Tennessee, from October 23rd through the 25th. This event is all about sales, sales, sales. Don't miss the chance to join us in Music City for 3 days full of the most cutting-edge content we've ever produced, featuring the industry's top minds, leaders, and innovators. Access the newest tools and resources from wholesale leading lenders and vendors. Take part in our acclaimed workshop summits for free. Catch wholesale's rising stars in their very own breakout sessions. And of course, take part in the best and, quite frankly, the most fun networking opportunities you'll find in the wholesale channel. Join us to grow your network, your skill set, and your business at what will no doubt be the greatest Fuse conference yet. Go to fuse.aimgroup.com to sign up and receive updates when tickets go on sale. Secure your hotel room and get your Fuse tickets for free. That's a $600 value for the prices as low as $199 when you sign up for an AIME annual membership. Don't miss your chance to be there when wholesale history is made at Fuse 2025. I can't wait to see you there.
All right, and we're back. John, the floor is yours for story time.
The power of acknowledgement goes so deep, and this has a lot to do with like building your own personal teams as well, right? The people that are on your staff, the people that go to war with you, the people that battle with you. And there's a wonderful story of Abraham Lincoln and part of his cabinet member, the Secretary of War, Edwin Stanton. Stanton was known for his harsh criticisms of Abraham Lincoln. He disagreed heavily with many of his decisions, his policies, and there was times where he basically called Lincoln an idiot. And yes, the same Abraham Lincoln we all read about in the history books. He was called incompetent. He was called an idiot. He was criticized heavily during his time. And initially, when Lincoln got all of this, he was frustrated. But at first, as opposed to going against that, and he said, you know what, I'm not going to retaliate. I'm not going to also dismiss him either, because he didn't want to do that. He's part of the cabinet. He's the Secretary of War. This is his job. That's his role. So you can't dismiss the person. They're going to be there. They're in office. They're not going anywhere. So what he did is he said, you know what? Why don't we meet? Let's sit down, eyeball to eyeball, and have a conversation. So he practiced the art of acknowledgement and patience. He listened carefully to every objection that Stanton had. He respected his position and publicly acknowledged Stanton's expertise. Stanton wasn't some random human being that didn't know what he was talking about. This person was dialed in and spent his life dedicated to this craft. He understood it like the back of his hand. Now, here's what happened. They didn't see eye to eye in everything. They still had disagreements, but one thing was for certain. Edwin Stanton became one of the most loyal human beings to Abraham Lincoln during that time, and they grew one of the best partnerships that anybody had had. He became one of the closest advisors to Abraham Lincoln and played a huge part in the Union Army. And all of that because of acknowledging somebody that disagreed with you. See, most people, when someone disagrees or they get angry or frustrated with them, they dismiss. They don't entertain the conversation. Now, let me be clear with you. This doesn't mean you engage with every conversation. A lot of people don't put in the time or the effort to actually do the research and formulate an articulate response to something when it comes to critiquing. It's just like they just want the biggest pop that they can get, the biggest push that they can get. You've seen it. You know exactly what I'm talking about. But there are some people in this world to where they are an expert. They do know what they're talking about. And all it takes is a simple conversation. Here's what I've learned, especially in my role here at AIME. When I first got into this role, the amount of backlash was immense. And now the support is unbelievable. And it all started with phone conversations. I put my cell phone out there to the public, to people that were criticizing me. And the ones that called me are the ones that I still have friendships with now. They got at me. They didn't see eye to eye. They disagreed with me heavily on certain things, but guess what? They loved that I was willing to have a conversation. Sometimes all it takes is a little acknowledgement and a conversation. And I'm sure there's people in your life right now that you know you owe that phone call to. Well, here's your call to action. Make the call. But John, I want them to make the call first. Stop. Why? Because your ego. I know I have it too. But screw that ego. Make the phone call. Acknowledge the person. You know the ones you need to call, and you know the ones not to call. Call them. Give them that shot. That's my story for today.
Awesome. Love it. Love it. Love the tie-in. the acknowledgement, the follow through. I it really does take pushback. It really does to like those are the people that if they really care, they're gonna push back.
Yes. Yes. If they the more I push back, the more I care.
Yeah, absolutely. And some people can't take the pushback. Some people just take it as a personal assault.
It's
But
it's like an attack. No, it's not. Who cares? Like, look, feedback from people that know what they're doing is good feedback.
and especially if they're on your team, they just want what's best for the team. Right? So if they're in your corner and they're giving you feedback and you may not like it, just there are questions you can ask. Why? Or why do it this way? What is the reason? There's questions to ask, but it should be a conversation. It don't just shut it down. Cool.
And you know, Tommy, it just like we talked about. It if that person means something to you, that person has the expertise, you know there's opportunity there, you know there's knowledge. Like you're so right. It's not worth everybody's time, right? You can't be sitting there not everyone's going to like you. Just get over that. It's not about that. It's the ones that there's real opportunity with and you know who they are. Have the conversation.
You don't need everybody to like you. You
No.
just need the important ones.
Yes.
Well, thanks for tuning in to this episode of the Broker Power Up podcast. If you found today's tips helpful, do us a favor, hit the like button to let us know you enjoyed it, which helps even more people see this content. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, ring the bell to get notified every time we drop new content. Share this video with a fellow broker who could use a power up. And remember to lead by example, to lift each other up, to grow together, and most importantly, close more loans. Until next time, keep powering up.
Take care.